Dr. Kubla Singh, you wrote an article in the Orinoco Tribune entitled Waiting for Iran.
Waiting on Iran, yes.
Okay. What is the significance of that war with Iran, and why do you think it's important?
Well, I think it's utterly significant because it is a bastion of historical third world, the non-aligned movement, the Bandung group fighting against naked fascism. Now, not many people understand fascism. Fascism is basically a dogma. It was there in Italy in the 40s and 30s. It was there in Nazi Germany. But it was there ever since the white groups, the European groups, conquered the Americas. It basically says, we will make every manner of mischief and war against you into war and into perpetuity. And if you resist the taking of your resources, the enslavement of your wives, and taking of your farms and your oil, we will blame it on you. And we will continue to make war and mischief on you until you are totally decapitated and totally exterminated. That's the doctrine. And it's an ideological doctrine. It makes you believe, the victim, that you're wrong. So right now in Trinidad, for example, you have Trinidad is being led by a lot of serfs, school children serfs, who are being carried along by fascism. You know the little children when they went to school? Ta-la-la-la, ta-la-la-la, tanka-la, ta-la-la-la. I could tell miss you go on your pick cherry, but the cherry tree belongs to you. I could tell miss that you break the sanctions, but the sanctions are illegal. Those sanctions that the American imposed against Iran or Venezuela or Cuba or Russia or China or India, wherever it is, they're illegal. Secondary sanctions are illegal. So you have a whole range of serfs who abide by fascism unwittingly. The article starts by saying that the doctrines of democracy, liberalism, these are the old white first world imperialist doctrines. Democracy, liberalism, liberal democracy, Christian democracy, democratic socialism, nationalism, humanism, conservatism, republicanism, any of those things that they use, they're just a guise, they're just a mask for perpetuating fascism. A military and an ideological doctrine of warfare, oppression, subjugation, and control. They call it that, but it's never that. It's never that. It was never that in Latin America. It was never that in Africa when they went for the slaves. It was never that in Southeast Asia when they went for Vietnam. It was never that in North Korea when they bombed the HELL out of the system. That's why we have that North Korea today. It was never that in West Asia, what they did, what they're doing now with Iran. It was never that in the Caribbean, what they're doing to Cuba, what they're doing to Venezuela, what they did to Grenada. It was never that in the Philippines and Hawaii. It was always, yes, democracy and republicanism and so on, but underneath that, those are basically terms that they use to facilitate fascism, pure military conquest to steal resources. Whatever name they call it, democracy or whatever it is. On Iran now, Iran has stopped them because they've developed a different kind of technology, not nuclear weapons, but they've developed a technology which is now repelling what they thought was a superior technology, a static technology. They developed a technology called drone missiles. They can't stop it. And they developed huge underground cities creating these missiles on a daily basis. And they developed an intellectual composure, an emotional composure to deal with these fascists. So the Iranian war is important because It is a hope, a beacon of light for countries like North Korea, West Asia, Africa, Latin America, the Caribbean, which is now in disarray, which is now in serious disarray, and most of them are being led by serfs, school children serfs, who believe in fascism. There's nothing wrong if the fascists believe in fascism, that's their doctrine, it's a cherished pet doctrine. But it's when the stooges believe in it, and the stooges encourage other people to believe in it, and the stooges carry it like a flag, you know? So they've bounced their head in Iran because they can't defeat Iran. Iran is not going to back down. Iran is not going to go on any more peace missions. The peace missions have all proved to be hoax, fascist hoax. And Trump is coming at them. You know, the whole world is wondering what's going to happen now. Well, I'll tell you what's happening. Trump is going to unleash a very powerful air armada against Iran within the next 2 weeks. He's trying to bomb them into, because that's all they're good at, that's all they're superior at. He's going to sit thousands of miles, thousands of meters up in the sky, and he's going to bomb and bomb and bomb and bomb them. And they're not going to submit. And they're going to do two things. They're going to either withdraw, or they're going to make peace. And whichever way they lose, whichever way, basically what Iran is doing, they're putting them back down in the normative ladder. In other words, you can't really control the world anymore. You have to be like China. You have to be like Russia. You have to be on that plane of great powers. But you're not in the plane of domination anymore. And that is the significance of the Iran war, because they put them back in place, in order. You punch the nose of the bully and make him live like a human being again. They can participate in the games again, in the marble pitching. He doesn't own all the marbles. Let him earn his marbles and earn his keep. You can't come and just mash up the whole game, take all the marbles and say you win. That's what fascists do. When they're losing in this case to China because they can't compete with China, they mash up the game, take all the marbles, pocket it, and they say we win. And if you fight them, mash up the whole system, the whole schoolyard. So that's the importance of Iran. Iran is standing up to a fascist, I don't like the word demonic, but I use it in the sense of demonic empire. And that empire is going to be relegated to the status of China and Russia. Whatever comes out of this war, and put them in their proper place, and it'll be a very good sign, a good beacon and hope for the right-thinking people of Latin America and Africa and West Asia and Caribbean, that fascism can be defeated. And I think one of our main responsibilities as philosophers, as poets, as writers, is to summon in the new world, which will be attendant on the Iranian victory of not just China power, not just American power, not just Russian power, but power based in Africa, Latin America, Caribbean, Northeast Asia, Southeast Asia, and all the other countries in the world which have been subdued and subordinated and controlled and defeated by fascist empires, European empires.
Very good.